In this video, we'll be talking about CSS Inserting. So to start with CSS, let's create a folder, a new folder. Let's create our folder that will contain our project. Let's name it CSS. Let's name it CSS project. Okay, CSS project. Then let's open it with our VS Code. Okay, there's our new folder. So we'll open it with our VS Code. Okay. Okay, now it's open. Let's close this. Let's close this. Get started this thing. So we are now inside our VS Code. Then let's open our browser for output. Okay. Okay. So let's type in our live server address. 12. Okay, yeah, here is it. So we are now connected to our server. When we on the server to connect automatically, we have to do just to refresh. Okay, now before you enter CSS, you're supposed to have a basic understanding of HTML. So you can watch our HTML videos to understand every details about HTML and many elements in HTML. Just watch our HTML videos. Okay, proceeding. Let's create first of all, create a HTML file. Let's name it index.html. Index.html. Okay, this is our first HTML page. So let's add the basic structure. Shift 1 to then enter. Okay. Now we are talking about CSS inserting. That simply means how to insert CSS inside our HTML project. Okay, let me on the live server first, so it will be previewing live. Let me connect it again. Yeah, it's connected now. Let me be sure. Type something now. Yeah, it's live now. It's connected to our output. So inside this our HTML, there are three ways to add CSS to our project. Okay, to our HTML project. So how to do that? First of all, we have inline, then we have internal, and then we have external. So let's start with an inline. Let's create a header one element. Inside, let's say hello world. Let's say hello world. This is a simple HTML element that prints out, that displays hello world in the browser. Okay, then to add inline styling, you open the first tag, then use style attribute. Then inside the style attribute, let's use a column. Let's use a color in this video. So inside the style attributes, we use color, then we put your colon, then let's give it, let's say brown. Okay, let me use color that it will be more visible. Let me use red. Okay, it's more visible now. So this is for um inline CSS. How to make use of CSS through inline. This is inline, inserting CSS in inline. Okay, this is one. Okay, let's screen this. So the second one is internal CSS, inserting CSS through internal. So to do that, you come to before the closing tag of your header, you now type in style. Then when you type in the style element, then open it. Inside it, you start writing your CSS. So let's do the same thing that we did in the inline, which is color. So to do that, use h1, then this is a h1 selector. Then open a block. Okay, open a block by using this curly braces. Okay, inside this brace now we now do the same thing. We now say color instead of writing style equal to color and all that. All we have to do here is now like color that let's color, put your colon, then now give it the color. Let's say red again. You can see it's showing here. So this is how to use internal CSS. Okay, then the best for developers, the best so far, the most important and the most reliable and the best one is external, because if you're using this one now, if you create another page you have to do this again, or even this one, if you create another page you have to do this, if you create another page you have to do this. So the best one is to use external CSS. So to create an external CSS, you have to create a folder. The best practice is to create a folder, name it, let's say name it CSS. Then after naming it CSS, and open that same folder and create a file inside that folder. Let's name it let's say style. Let me use style.css. CSS. This is the best practice to use to use as to the best practice of creating external CSS. This is the best practice. So you don't just create a file, just create a folder for it. Okay. So we are now inside our style.css. So let me know how whether I can split my let me split my screen so we can see, we can be seeing the two files together all at once. Let's use this. Think it will work. Not this one. How do I do that? I think it's this one. How do I split this my screen? I think it's this one. Yeah, I think it's this one. This is how to split the screen. Then I will now open the HTML here, and then here it will be CSS. Although it's a little bit small. I don't know whether I can. Let me. Okay. Yeah, this is perfect. Can I widen it more? I think it's better this way. Let me see whether I can do anything in this. Okay, this is the minimum. So I think it's much better this way. So to do that, let's create our internal CSS. Let's create it out. Okay. So let's write our external CSS inside this external CSS. What we have to write inside the file is just use the selector, which is this. The selector will be this #1. Just type #1. Open your block with curly braces. Okay, now you now put in the property and the value, which is we want color red, which is color red. We want red color. Okay, this is supposed to be showing hello world. Okay, let me see whether I can. Bear with me. Let me see whether I can reduce the size of this Chrome. I'm not sure. Let me see whether okay. Let's do it like this. Okay, now inside the, if you can notice now, the color is not reflecting here. The color is not reflecting in the output. The reason is that we have not linked it to our HTML file. This our index.html. So to do that, come inside this our under the title, type in link. Okay, the best. Okay, yeah, inside our business type link. Then inside this href, type in the name of the path to your HTML folder where your CSS folder where your CSS file is. So the best way to do it is to use dot /. So it will list out the content of our working project, our folder, the content of our project, our folder. So from there we can now select what we want to select. So we do // dots and // So we can see our CSS folder, click it, then inside it you now click .css. You can see that you can actually type this thing like this. You can just click dot slash css slash style.css. So this is name of our folder, and then this is the name of our file. So it's not linked. You can see the output in the screen. So this is the best practice. Assuming we create another HTML file now, another HTML file, which is, you can see another HTML page, another page. What we have to do is just to link it. We don't need to do inline styling and all that. All we have to do is just to link it. This one file now can serve thousands of HTML page. So it's the best practice, the best practice, and it's very easy, very easy, and even make your code look more clean and more neat. Okay, so that is it for CSS inserting. And then another thing I want to talk about is that if you are using external CSS, if you're using external CSS and use inline CSS, the inline CSS will be the first priority. So if we put internal CSS here, let's say style again, say style and color, and then let's say green. If you say green now, this will be green. It will ignore the external. Likewise, if you use internal, let us also do internal. Let us do internal as well. Let's say style inside our style. Let's say h1 open, then color. Let me use another color. Let me say blue. Okay, now you have to understand that if you use an inline, internal and external, the system automatically pick the inline because it sees this as the most closest. The one that is most closest is the one that it will use. Okay, so if we clean this internal now, if we remove this internal styling now, let's remove it. If we remove this internal styling now, it will change to blue because blue is closest, is closest, which is internal CSS. It will make use of this internal. It will just ignore the external. So if we now remove the internal now, it will now go back to external. That is when it will now look at the external, make use of the external. So that is the quick thing I want us to have in mind. So if you want to use external CSS, just use that external CSS. Okay, unless you want to target a particular thing using inline, then you now use inline CSS. But the best practice is to use external CSS. So that is it for CSS inserting. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.